So the NBA.com website released their annual survey where they ask anonymously different GMs throughout the NBA their predictions of what's going to happen in the next upcoming season. This is usually done by John Schumann. Forgive me if I didn't say his last name right. And there's about 50 questions in this anonymous survey. I'm going to go through the ones that really stood out to me and compare it to the year before in terms of the predictions as well. So without further ado, let's get into this, man. Last year, they predicted that the Boston Celtics would win the championship. It was a tie, as you see on the screen, with the Denver Nuggets. They got the Celtics right, but every other team after that was pretty much off, especially the LA Clippers and Phoenix Suns. You could say the Bucks was the one they got wrong the most, given the high percentage and how they fizzled out early in the playoffs. But I gotta see Bucks at full health to really see how they are. Dame was injured in the middle of the playoffs. Giannis didn't play at all. So I could give them a pass on that one. Now this time around, this is pretty interesting because they're saying we think definitively there's one team that's clearly better than everyone, given the percentage. Boston Celtics got 83%. Followed by Oklahoma at 13, Dallas Mavericks at 3. Mavericks weren't even on the list for the year before, and they ended up making the finals, as we know. This tells me a lot. They think the NBA Finals is a lock, especially when it comes to who's coming out of the East. There's not even another Eastern Conference team in this percentage period. They got two West teams, OKC, Dallas, with the addition of Klay Thompson and we're assuming the improvement of Derek Lively taking another step. I can see them back in the NBA Finals. That's not far-fetched at all. The OKC one, Chet Holmgren is going to have to take a huge step in order for that to happen. If Chet comes back and he's relatively the same, he doesn't take that extra push, I don't see them getting out of the West. Let's take a look at how they ranked each conference in terms of order in the playoff picture. I think they got the East pretty much right. Boston first, New York second, Philly 3, Cleveland 4, Milwaukee 5, Orlando 6, Indiana 7. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that order is the exact order that they have it in right now. I think that's very accurate. The West, pretty much the same thing as you can see. The only one that I'm wondering, like, Golden State at 8? Nah, I don't see Golden State making the playoffs, man, unless they make a huge trade and get another star. Maybe the play-in game, but definitely not an 8 seed. We'll see about that one. And I'm a little bit surprised they don't have the Lakers in this playoff picture. I guess they couldn't have Golden State and Lakers both off. You know, Charles Barkley makes those jokes about how the NBA got to keep pushing these teams because of Steph Curry and LeBron James being on it. I don't know, man. I'm just kind of making a joke. All right, let's get into the fun part now. Who will win MVP? Last year, they had Nikola Jokic at 43%. As you see, they got that right. He won again. Giannis was right behind him at 20%. Tatum at 13%. Luka Doncic at 10%. This year, they got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at 40%. That's very high, given the fact that he wasn't even on the list, period, for the year before. Luka Doncic is right behind him at 30%, and everyone else is basically at 7%. As I said before, the media members are the ones who vote for the MVP. If you see Shai and Luka being marketed a lot, promoted heavy to win this award, then you already know it's a two-man race. I can also see Anthony Edwards possibly winning this award too, or being in the mix once again. You know, if he makes things work with Julius Randle, they're at the top of the West, it's going to make him look even better as somebody who, no matter who you got on the team playing next to him, he's going to make it work. Because then you got to look at, all right, who's the common denominator? They get rid of Towns, they got Julius Randle, the team is still afloat. Well, that's because of Anthony Edwards, right? So y'all keep that in mind. Another question they asked was who is most likely to have a breakout season. And the couple of names that stood out to me in terms of how did they make this list was Evan Mobley and John Morant. Evan Mobley, since he's just playing with too much guys on that team who need the ball, I think they got to clear things out and make him more of a focal point on offense. Whether that's, I don't know, trading a Darius Garland or Donovan Mitchell, or just getting him the ball more, period, and making that more of a concerted effort. John Morant, well, he's already a proven star. I don't see how much more he could break out, even given his off-court issues or injuries. I don't classify him as having a breakout season that I'm expecting. He's going to do what he does. Now, they had this portion where they asked who were the best players by position. I have a real issue with the point guard slot in the NBA. It's like when I see this list and who they have, I can make an argument none of these guys are really point guards. Yes, they're listed as point guards, but I don't see them as such. Call me old school. So they got Luka Doncic number 1, and you see the rest: Shai Gilgeous, Curry, Jalen Brunson. And then look at the best shooting guards, right? Steph Curry got a vote. Luka Doncic got a vote. Shai Gilgeous got a vote. This is what I'm talking about. It's like we got point guards who are really shooting guards, but they're listed at this position. That's just me personally. Y'all can let me know in the comment section how you feel about that. Now let's move on to best small forward. Jason Tatum at 47%. Look, Luka Doncic got votes for small forward. Kevin Durant, LeBron, Jaylen Brown. We're really in this positionless basketball. The power forward spot surprised me a lot too. I'm surprised Anthony Davis didn't get any more votes. They got Kevin Durant over Anthony Davis, which is kind of weird to me. If we're talking about the 4 spot, I would rather have Anthony Davis at that position than Kevin Durant. I look at KD as a 3. Best center in the NBA, I'm surprised Nikola won this much at 87. Embiid, I thought it would be closer. I think they're neck and neck. So that's a big surprise as well. The rookie voting as we move along, this one is crazy. They got Reed Sheppard at 50%. Not that part is crazy, but because if you look at the first and second picks in the draft, they're not even in this top list. Reed Sheppard was drafted number 3. Zach Edey went a little bit later. Stephen Castle at 4. But this is the order that they have it in. And with Reed Sheppard, when it comes to just the eye test from what I've seen so far on October the 8th as I record this video, because I haven't watched every single rookie, he looks like he has the most skill or the talent that could transition into being a star player, which is why if you go down, you see what rookie will be the best player in 5 years. They got Reed Sheppard at 43%. The only thing with him is he's playing behind Fred VanVleet and Jalen Green. So it's going to depend on how much minutes is he really getting. Are they going to use him as a 6th man where he ends up playing 25 minutes or 20 plus? I still think that may not be enough. He got to really be in that starting lineup. When it comes to the defensive side of the ball, you see that Victor Wembanyama is seen as the best defensive player in the NBA. I agree with that, man. Every time I watch him, he just did things that I haven't seen an NBA player do in a very long time with the blocks and the steals. Bam Adebayo followed at 10%, and then Rudy Gobert is still at 10%. This is where things are really interesting. You hear how much criticism Rudy gets within the NBA media, particularly from former players like on Inside the NBA, Shaq in particular, really saying he's overrated, he's not worth the money that he's getting. However, when it comes to these GMs, the people who pick the teams, make the roster acquisitions, they still clearly are saying, nah, Rudy is one of the best defensive players in the NBA, period. Moving along, the best perimeter defender, they got Drew Holiday at 43%. I think Derek White should be somewhere within this list too. He did get votes, but he's still not obviously at the top, but the rest of the guys that they have showing. Here's a fun question that should get people a little bit excited, especially if you are not a LeBron James fan for whatever reason, whether it's legitimate or not. They ask, which player would you want taking a shot with the game on the line? Steph Curry got the most votes at 40%. Kevin Durant, 23%. Luka Doncic. They even had Nikola Jokic, which is a surprise. He's a big man. He can't really create his own shot off the dribble. Last, seconds left in the game. I don't know if I would want the ball in his hands if I got other options like some of the names that were mentioned or even ones that weren't. Not to say that he can't do it. I'm just saying I wouldn't have him at the top like 5. Anyhow, there's a lot more questions that were answered anonymously by GMs in the survey that you could check out. I just wanted to go over the ones that stood out to me the most, have a conversation about it. Hit me in the comment section as to what you believe is right with these lists or where they went wrong, names left off, the whole thing. And as always, salute for listening. Peace.